right, map 1 in the books here at Season 5 Pro League. And Cloud9 is going to walk away with it pretty easily, kind of what we anticipated. But we do have a doubleheader, so we are going to see a second map from those two teams, and it's actually going to be Cash.
Yeah, so we talked about it in the pregame. If it was going to be a close map, it was going to be on Cobble. Just looking at Rush's history on the map, they were much stronger on Cobble than they were on Cash. I think Cash, they kind of had a little bit of a rough run. And C9, on the other hand, has had much stronger performances on Cash against bigger opponents as well. I think in general, this one will be a little bit more one-sided than the first map. Although with the way that we saw them playing towards the middle of that second half, it still could be possible that Rush put up rounds. I just don't see them walking away with a win.
Well, there's definitely the possibility that, you know, like you're saying, first map, you got the first of the season jitters, and that they're able to put something together, maybe string together a series of rounds, maybe take a pistol and maybe take first gun and run away with it. But the likelihood of that happening is very little, especially against a veteran squad, which is Cloud9. Either way, what is your prediction going into this one?
I have to say probably like 16-5, somewhere in that range. I think that Cloud9 is going to come out swinging. They're going to look a little bit stronger. So I think in general, it will be another pretty strong performance. I would imagine the first half will be a bit of a landslide again.
Okay, to kind of walk us through Cloud9's Cash, we're going to throw it over to Stromboli. Take it away, Eric.
Thanks, Donna. And now let's take a look at a B fake from Cloud9 on their T side of Cash. Now, the round beforehand, they took B with smokes, flashes, Molotovs, and they took it pretty nicely. Now, this round is going to be a little different. They have almost the same lineup. They're throwing smokes. They're throwing flashes. But one thing that's a little different is that Stewie he's going to be running in here by himself. And what this allows the T's to do, as you see his pause, it's going to pull the counter-terrorist from the other side of the map. You see Mixwell in the middle, Stanislav's kind of in helping him in mid, and then Rush is playing so passive in A, this allows Shroud to literally sneak out the squeaky door and plant the bomb uncontested. And so it works very nicely. It pulls Optic, who seems to be more of a passive counter-terrorist team on Cash, just completely almost like a counter strat. And as you can see, they plant the bomb and they eventually win the round. Even if it's 5-on-4, the damage is already done. And that's a pretty nice strat by Cloud9. And back to you, Stunna.
Thanks, Eric.
Handsome guy.
Looking lovely over there. The tracksuit just pretty much completes the look. But absolutely, Cash, I think 100% in Cloud9's hands. Yeah. I think they can take it. I think they can run away with it right at the beginning, very early. But, I mean, what sort of shortcomings can you see happening here on the Cloud9 side?
I think maybe they get a little too comfortable with the fact that that first map started out so strong and then came back a little bit towards the end. Maybe it's a bit of complacency. Maybe they pull back thinking, we don't have to put this much effort into this. We can kind of just like pug this one to the end. I don't necessarily see a team like Cloud9 going to that, whereas we've seen that from other North American teams in the past. But I do think that there's a possibility, it's slim, that Cloud9 gets a little bit lax and that Rush grabs a few rounds. Even still, I don't think it will be many.
Now, for either of these teams, are there any sort of tendencies or any sort of play styles that we should look out for from the Cloud9 or the Rush camp?
Well, I mean, just based on what we saw in that first map, if Rush is going to take rounds on their T side, it's going to be off the back of somebody. Like Poyo was a consistent entry fragger. The biggest problem for them, almost no AWP presence whatsoever. Like,
which would be Virtus.
Virtus had like no impact in that game on Cobble. I think it was 9 rounds in, Virtus did not have a single kill. Toy had 1. And that's not the ESCA scoreboard glitch. That was 1 kill for 2 players and like 17 deaths. That's a problem moving into the second map. They're going to need those guys to step up their performance a bit because you can't just have one guy winning you rounds. Like, yeah, it was working for Cloud9 with automatic, but it's a non-sustainable business model.
Well, yeah, I mean, even at that point, we're looking at Cloud9 being able to, farm the kills for money. And then on top of that, they're able to farm rounds, which gives them the advantage so much that they have such an overhead score going into that first half.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's ever really going to be an instance where you're going to see some of these guys from Rush like backpack the team and win like 5-6 straight rounds. Whereas I feel like we could see that from Cloud9. You could have one guy just go off for half of a game and just go completely insane and win rounds by himself. And we did see that to a certain degree. Stewie did it. Automatic did it. I think in general, Cloud9 has that skill level, but I don't think it's the same for Rush. Still talented, just not quite at the same level.
Let's take this to another level. I mean, let's say more so than just skill. I mean, Cloud9 is able to come in here and they're able to just kind of throw their weight around. They're able to throw their John Wick around and really pretty much just dictate where they want to fight, when they want to fight, how they want to fight, because they are the overpowered team or in this situation.
Yeah, I think in general, we might see a few decent executes from the likes of Rush, something I felt was lacking a little bit on Cobble. But yeah, I think this is going to be C9.
Okay, we're going to throw it over to the commentators standing by. The Blaze combo, Blue and Daze. Take it away, guys.
All right, thank you very much, Son. And whoa, we are already getting into the map now. It's a 5v4 already. Little Man finding the first kill with Skadoodle on a trade. Little Man trying to play up close contact here by the garage, but it's not working out. Poyo is now down at 7 HP. So the guys from C9 do manage to brute force their way through it, but they need to be a bit cautious here because there is Virtus to worry about coming out on a potential flank. Cloud9 have halted themselves here for right now, and they are shifting forward. Virtus specifically moving in, but they're watching for that. However, it's not going to matter. Virtus with a beautiful one-tap against Stewie there does take him down with the headshot. Now we're in a 2 versus 3. The last CT remaining beyond Virtus, Blade, has wrapped himself over to Z as well. But in the meantime of all of this happening, Cloud9 has successfully pushed their way into the vents. And Shroud, waiting up on the boost at 7 HP, has picked up a kill. But Blade will trade that. Now it's down to Blade clutching this 1v2. He has a kit. He actually has a smoke to give him a little bit more momentum here too. But he has no idea in terms of where these players are positioned in the bomb site. He can only take a guess based on his own experience here. And as he does move in, he gets the peek from Skadoodle. It's actually a tap onto him as well, bringing him to 40 HP. The other player still stuck inside over there on the other side of the checker room behind the box. So he'll move in, and this is the flawless plant position too. So this is going to be essentially impossible for Blade to actually clutch out. But here's where that smoke comes in. He's going to dive into it. He'll stick it, and now, can they get him? He's down at 35. One more bullet's needed. 6, and he does not defuse the bomb. It's so close though. But Cloud9 do indeed take control of the pistol and get to start off here on map number 2 strong as well.
Yeah, and just initially, I know we got into that round a little bit late, but I think whenever a mid-take happens like that, Blue, and you're like that A player on truck or whatever, if you're just that A player, and so much fighting is going on mid, I mean, Lowman and I believe it was Poyo were fighting there for so long. I think Blade should actually go away from the white truck and go either towards Highway and Z and help his team out. If he does that, you might be able to capitalize off their deaths or maybe even help them out to not die.
Well, it looks like Cloud9 again are going to be stacking up over here behind the A site, and it's going to counteract the rush from the guys on Rush here as they do try to get aggressive outside of the A bomb site here. Toy finds 1 kill against nothing. I believe that's a boost up in mid, but other than that, no other frags have been found here against the Cloud9 roster. They're still holding some control of the A bomb site here, which is slowing the actual push itself. And Virtus back by Quad, he's trying so hard to get that kill, but just can't do it. And the 5-7 from Little Man is not going to accomplish anything either. A swift shutdown, and Cloud9 again go up 2-0 as Rush fails their force up.
Yeah, and that's a pretty common eco, or actually even sometimes a gun round. And Valen's the new coach for C9. It's actually the one that kind of made that popular, where you just boost somebody over and you have 2 push door. A lot of times just catch people off guard because those guys outside of A main start looking towards door, and then the guy boost comes and can get a lot of kills. Another thing that I saw in that pistol round that was really smart by Cloud9 is as soon as Virtus was found pushing B, immediately just go towards the vents. You know, they know B's open, they know they can take the site and plant, and then Shroud coming out from the boost was, just being completely silent. As Stewie and, Automatic just go out middle, one of them, and should be just being really easy cleanup for Cloud9.
And speaking of the cleanups here, Cloud9 over here at the B halls, it's going to be nothing with a MAC-10 that takes out both Virtus and Little Man. Another swift end of the round here as Cloud9 just rush right over the guys from Rush, take them out, and now we get ourselves into the more interesting part of the map. This is where the first gun round comes in for these CTs here. They're able to get the op on a Virtus with armor sitting behind it, and full rifle buys for the rest. So utility in terms of anything beyond smokes and flashbangs will be a little bit limited here. You can see Toy gets really the only semblance of that. However, it still should not be a big deal in the long run of things here, as Cloud9 are still working with a couple SMGs as well.
Yeah, and they throw initial mid nades, trying to bait out whatever they can. Stewie going out A right now.
Oh.
Dies so quickly to Blade to try to make that fake. The B push happens and nothing trades. Now Virtus in the site alone. Gets a nice kill on Skadoodle. That's the MAC-10er. No trade available, and now he's able to hold strong, and it's 2v4. And this should be a pretty clean round by Rush.
In fact, Blade already finding one of the last 2 kills there. That's automatic gone down. It's nothing that has to attempt to ace this if he wants to continue to push Cloud9 forward and stop Rush from once again winning the initial gun round. Same thing happened back over on Cobblestone too. He's taking it slow though, sneaking his way in, even breaking the vents there. Throw them off a little bit, as it's actually distracted Virtus quite a bit. He'll cross, though, into the tree room. He needs to go for a full check as Toy is waiting there on top of the rafters, and Toy will finish the job. So, unfortunately, nothing is not going to be able to accomplish much there, and Rush do get themselves a pretty clean first gun around there, as it seemed kind of weird from C9, specifically like with Stewie, like leaping out of A main with his knife out.
Yeah, I think they faked the middle. Then they had Stewie go out A. Well, 3 walked B. And then as Stewie's going out A, the other guy comes out middle and then is going to try to get to vents is what I think they tried to do. Obviously, it didn't work out. And against strats like that, if everybody just kind of... You really just can't over-rotate if you're Rush, because you're never going to be able to predict really where they're going, or it's going to be very difficult to. And now Cloud9, after losing that one, remember, they still had like 2 Mac-10s that they saved blue. So that was kind of one of the reasons they probably wanted to try something like that. But they go back to, just a slowed down play style. Cash is one of those maps where most teams go pretty slow blue. Most teams start out in a default on Cash and then work into something. I don't see that many fast strats on Cash. I don't think it's the way to go, just because there's usually a lot of smokes deployed early and often, and becomes a lot more difficult to get anything going early.
Well, it is, in fact, that slower style of play from C9, although they did get some early damage. Specifically, I think it was Automatic that moved in and was able to bring Virtus down to 20 HP. So they have that going for them, but with a Molotov deployed inside of the vents, they'll feel safe enough to be able to proceed out towards mid. Resistance will be in from here, however, as Toy holds by the white box. In fact, the only position that was not mollied or smoked out. He'll still be flashbanged a couple of times here, but he's ready for it when they do go for the cross. Just not able to connect the kill. Stewie gets a little bit lower to 48 HP. They're pushing up close, though, and it's Automatic that finishes the job against Toy. He'll take him down. More starting to flush in through the vents, and it's a fast push, too. Now, Skadoodle finding Virtus in the open. They haven't checked this left side of the site, so Little Man's going to be able to chime in for not 1, but 2 kills here. He'll hunt for the 3rd against Shroud as he's trying to push towards it. Finally, I think Little Man runs out of ammo, so Shroud is going to take him out. But again, with those trades, it's opened up another chance for Rush to try to clutch this one out. They're down to a 2v3. They don't have a whole lot of utility with which to get back into the site, but they can certainly attempt it. However, there's a player that's coming in on the flank now, Automatic, sneaking his way in through Z that could put a stop to all of this before it even begins, and he'll walk right up. The player in heaven, he's prepared for that frag, and now Pollo is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he won't be able to escape. Automatic cleans up the last 2 very easily, gets himself a 3 kill on the round, and they will reset the losing bonus for Rush here.
Yeah, and that was a really, really nice flank by Automatic, and also a nice shot by Skadoodle there. But whenever you get into a 3v2 like that on that B site, it is so difficult to retake, as Little Man does his best to hold and give his team a chance to win. And now we see again, very, very early on, just like we saw in Cobble Blue, Cloud9 takes early control, they devastate Rush's economy, and they get these easy rounds, get their economy built up, similar to what we saw in Cobble.
And it's fast out through mid here, specifically for Stewie this time to take control on this position of the map. Even transitioning into events a little bit here too, but obviously with the default lineup, they could still be going towards either site, as they've kept the options open. There's been a much heavier stack, or a much more aggressive stack, I should say, from Rush back over there. A Shroud finding a kill over in, I believe, towards Squeaky against Pollo to take him down, and a little bit of action happening towards Z, but nothing substantial. Beyond this, again, it's been slow, steady progress of Cloud9 just trying to knock out the Rush players one by one, and again, Stewie is found leaping with a knife out, but this time he recovers and is able to get his AK and check in time. Nothing will find Toy, and, well, Little Man was found on the B-bomb site, so he's not going to be able to do all that much here. It will definitely be a 5th one for C9 as soon as they're able to find him and take him down, which will happen right now.
Yeah, Stewie getting cut off, that's 3 times now. He didn't get punished the first, or the last 2 one, when he was coming towards vents, he pulled out his knife, got shot at, almost died. Pulled out his knife and did a jump towards Z and almost died. And then that very first round, he did die when he had the nades out, going out fork on that gun round. But luckily for him, able to stay alive in the next 2 times. And now, Rush in a bye, 1-5. They still not even a great bye though, Still, they just have an off. They have limited utility. One guy has an So Virtus getting taken out very, very early as they try to door push once again. And I think that's the 3rd time they've tried to push Shrouded door now. And each and every time he just dominates them.
He's also waiting again to see if anybody else is going to cross towards Highway right now. Blade is sitting up towards A main, out of his sight. They'll just shut the door, however, trying to block Shroud out from doing any more damage in this situation, with which will work. He's just going to fall back, I think, and regroup with the rest of his teammates, but there's more things to worry about on the other half of the map here, too, specifically in mid and over here towards the B-bomb site. Poyo is trying to resist things here. Skadoodle is going to put a quick shutdown to that, though, when he does finally peek out from the white box, and the rest of Cloud9, well, now stuck kind of by the vents here, but very decidedly sneaking into it still, or at least trying to make some noise. As Toy hides in the one and done corner, just waiting for them to rush into the site. He sees his first player. He is not going to fire off immediately, though. He's hoping he can get one or two more in the open, and well, there's another player caught. Again, not with the primary weapon. Now, this one's a lot more forgivable. Toy grabs that kill. In the meantime, though, they had planted it on A. Toy having an up to play with now, but no longer really going to try to clutch, just trying to escape, and he's already been surrounded. Well, he doesn't realize it. The first player spotted there. Well, there's Stewie caught up with a knife again, but Shroud will put a shutdown to Toy before he can do any further damage.
Yep, 1-6 rush on Eco. I mean, their economy got broken off that round that they won, so they dig themselves into these huge holes right away as Shroud just controls Squeaky Door. 3 rounds in a row now that they have tried to push him. 3 rounds in a row, they just punished him.
And it's back down onto another eco yet again here for Rush. Upgraded pistols, but that is essentially it. In fact, it's gotten so bad now that they're actually just going to go gamble stacking on A. All 5 players moving here. They don't even keep the typical one guy over on the B-bomb site, but Automatic wants to take the duel. Gets one, gets the second. More going to peek in, but he's a little bit low on ammo, so over to the Glock, but it doesn't even matter. Finally meets his match against Poyo there, who will finish the job. But the damage being done, and now there's more players that are going to wrap back in. Stewie, he gets dinked, but it doesn't matter. Continues to transfer the spray onto Poyo, and it's Cloud9 again, just dominating on these eco rounds, running through them like they're no problem whatsoever.
Yep, and 1-7. Now they finally get another buy-in. And we'll see if Cloud9 tries to keep the momentum going fast, and tries to go off of that quick round that they just had, or if they opt to do something a bit slower now and default.
Yeah, with the gunpowder there. Again, this time too, Rush finally really having...
Looks like it's going to just be like an all-out A exec blue, and they're set up very, very poorly to contest with this. Only 1 guy towards A, 2 guys middle, 1's deep highway, and 2 guys towards B. So finally Poyo comes over a bit, but Blade's going to be in a tough spot trying to hold off here, especially once the smoke dissipates. He might just be caught out.
Blade's actually just going to push himself right back in there. The flashbang works, but he doesn't realize that nothing is sitting directly behind him there when he moves in, so he misses that crucial piece of information, and he's going to go down pretty quickly. Poyo is able to find one from up on top, but promptly does fall back and retreat, which will give over control of the site, but at least they were able to keep it 4-4. Not only this too, but some extra Molotov damage was just done back over there too, to I think it was either Automatic or Shroud. There's 3 guys sitting between 20 and 35 HP now, and they're very, very low. Skadoodle is the only one left at full HP currently, so this is not going to be an impossible retake at all for the players on Rush. Skadoodle, he's waiting for the peek out though, and Little Man's going to walk right into his crosshair. There's one. There's the second against Toy as he pushes his way up highway, and I think that'll be the signal to fall back and save, if they can even do so, which they won't. Skadoodle will get the 3rd and final kill, and Cloud9 again dominate.
Yeah, and the highway player was so deep there. If that highway player is up a little bit further, maybe towards those toxic barrels, that probably doesn't happen. It's a very CT-sided shot, whether that player has an op or not. If you just simply crouch glitch on the toxic barrels, you crouch up to it, your head's hidden, and then you pop up. You're going to have a huge advantage on anybody posted at the door. So that guy doesn't do that. He's a bit too passive over there. His Toy is in Z, posted up with a deagle. That's never going to work. Whenever you're Z like that with a deagle, you pretty much always want to just be the peeker. Stewie gets Virtus, and now the CTs have a double fork. Stewie's putting pressure at B. Low man in the steel corner, oranges, a lot of us call it, gets taken out, and now a 1v4 for Blade. Seems like a familiar position for Blade, just being in these situations where he's kind of just left completely alone with no teammates.
Blade trying to do what he can against Shroud as he had him low at 16 HP, but when he finally actually finds him on the outside, Shroud will still get the kill, and a much-needed pause is coming in here now for Rush as things have kind of gotten out of hand. Cloud9, while they were kind of struggling to get things going initially, at least in a dominating fashion, I should say, they definitely weren't struggling with the scoreboard. Now they have been able to really take pretty much full control, and it's been little resistance at all now coming in from Rush over these past 3 to 4 rounds.
Yeah, not much going their way right now. Blade with 128 DAR, though. That's a bit surprising. I didn't realize he was doing that much work. But across the board, not many kills to their names. And, they're not really getting much done on any of these ecos. You look at their deaths. Automatic does have 6, and Stewie has 5. But nothing Shroud and Skadoodle, just with, 3-2 apiece for Shroud and Ska. And just not much to... not many ways that they're damaging their economy in the rounds that they are losing. They're not doing much to stop like this onslaught of just full nades, fully bought rounds from Cloud9.
And I mean, just going back to the Blade point here for a second, we have seen him as actually one of the few players that actually has been able to consistently trade out kills across the board, and you can see that by what was on the scoreboard there just moments ago. It's the rest of the team that is really failing to step back up here now and bring the power. Avertis is another one that's actually like really interesting because he's really inconsistent, but it's almost crazy to a certain degree because when he does show up to the table, he has these amazing performances, especially if you can actually get the op into his hands, and he has these really aggressive kills and these really clutch scenarios. But then when he's off, he's off in a huge way in that he's essentially non-existent for the team.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him consistently not do much for their team, except for that the one round they won, he was a B with the op, right? He did a good job of holding. But the problem with Virtus is that I see is a lot of the time he has just a complete lack of aggression. And when you're an opper, you want to be able to take things upon yourself and kind of go in first when your team needs it. I think like on Cobble on T side, there was a couple times he had an op and his team wasn't getting anything going. And when those situations occur, if you look at an opera like Guardian, you look at an opera like Device or Fallen, SK just, runs, gets a quick clean pick as they 4-1 towards B. Low man just gets caught out, just jumping Cloud9 players, very tough to kill. So 5v2, they're probably going to save right now. But when you're an opera, though, and you want to be a really good opera, Blue, you have to be able to take it upon yourself, right? If you watch like those three guys I mentioned, Guardian, Fallen, Device, when their team needs it and their team's struggling, they're the ones to take the initiative. They're the ones to say, hey, maybe this isn't the best way of winning a round if I just get ultra aggressive with the op here, but my team needs it. We have nothing else to fall back on, so I'm going to do it, right? And I usually don't see that from Virtus. I usually see consistent, very, very passive play, waiting on his teammates to do things. And if his teammates aren't having success, that's when he needs to step up and man up.
So coming off of the pause here, Rush, for the most part, just get destroyed by C9. And these last two that did try to fall back and save, well, Cloud9 100% knew that was going to happen. And they have no issues whatsoever moving in to destroy these last two players before they can even do that. They'll be right back down here onto what I'm going to assume is another half buy. Although with the score getting desperate, yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised to see them forced into it now. As, they just need to try and pick up some more rounds before this half closes out here. And they're sitting on a similar scoreline like what they had back on Cobble.
Yeah, so they're opting to buy every round, but this could dig them into a deeper hole, because even if you win this round, most likely you're not going to win it clean, right? And then you could just lose the following round and all of a sudden lose the half 13-2 almost certainly, right? So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Sometimes, obviously they feel like they need to take the risk to do it. Sometimes it can hurt you more than it helps you.
Initial pop flash that you can see there from Nothing in the Sunner was actually pretty good, but because they were still veiled behind the smoke, he wasn't able to get the kills. And now, though, he gets his chance to shine. And there is Little Man and Virtus both gone down. And look at this, not a single point of damage taken by anyone on Cloud9 that entire round. They shut down Rush, don't give them any room to squirm whatsoever. And after that force, well, again, they really don't have enough cash flow here, but they're going to buy into it. At least Little Man will. The rest of the team sort of hesitantly following suit.
Yeah, and they have 18 kills total. Automatic has 17 by himself right now for Cloud9. So they almost, as a team, don't even have as many kills as Tim. Tim or Automatic is at 17. Their entire team combined is 18 right now. So they're just getting smashed. And any early aggression coming out of Rush is getting dealt with immediately. Like Shroud's killed them multiple times at the door. That A main push, Automatic just stomps on. The B push, Nothing stomps on. So now finally they bring it into a 3v3, which is a manageable situation. Toy should get an easy kill, but Shroud. Wow, Blue.
Spins it around and grabs the great kill on a Toy. At the very least, there are some trades happening this time around, but Shroud is going to continue to get aggressive here, tapping away into Little Man, and Little Man obliges. He goes out into the open. He's got the last one on lock here, too. Poyo, he's isolated a duel with him. He's actually getting tagged a bit, spinning a little bit there. Poyo will get the kill. So this goes to a 1v2. The bomb, though, now transitioning, and they're actually going to boost the guy up into the events now, as the bomb itself does move in. So Poyo will go for this duel against Nothing. Nothing, though, may just shut him down as he's caught him while swapping weapons and reloading. An easy closeout for Cloud9 yet again here, although the actual round itself being a bit more difficult this time. With that amount of cash, they don't even have to worry about those traded deaths. Everybody sitting over 10K at this point. They're still in 100% complete control, and they can afford to lose those players, especially as we come to the closing rounds of the half.
Yeah, they can, and now they opt to half buy. So that's... I don't really like that decision. I think if you're going to opt to just buy every round, you should just do it regardless. It's kind of bad to just back-footed at this point. But, they opt for just a couple pistols and, most likely are going to concede this round. Stewie goes out middle, has mid control, right next to the vents, and knows that middle's open, but it's a B stack for the Rush side right now.
Stewie, a little bit of trouble tapping there, but he'll still get the kill against Toy. That's actually the A site wide open here now, and Shroud's already picked up on it. So Stewie is actually just going to position himself outside of Z, and he'll take a couple duels. He's got one more there. He's looking for another one. Little Man does outclass him in that situation, but nothing is coming from the backside. He's almost caught off guard, but he picks up the kill, and Polyo's got really nowhere to go. He has to take the battle here. Again, gets the kill on nothing, but now he'll be stuck in that B bomb site. They haven't even planted the bomb yet. They're just looking to try and just DM these guys down here, and it seems to be working pretty good.
It's because it's a stat pad match, Blue. That's what you call these matches. When you're on the Cloud9 side, it's just a stat pad match. It's just, you know, their whole team is pretty much just running around looking for battles, and I mean, some of them are playing. Scott never trusts stat pad. Skadoodle is, you could be at 14-0 and you could be playing against like an open team in a qualifier, right? And he will never hunt a kill. Like, he'll just play like super slots. Yeah, he never will, I'm telling you. But for everyone else, it's pretty much a stat pad match.
Well, Polyo is going to see if he can do any more damage before the end of it. It won't matter in the grand scheme of things here. Primarily just trying to save that AK. They have a little bit more to go off of going into the last round of the half here. But again, catches a player with a knife out. He will follow through with a kill, but then Ska with a nice shot. Actually, I think that was through the doorway there, or through the garage. He takes him down and even kills his teammate.
How did he kill his teammate?
He knifed him.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, right at the end there.
Savage.
I think it was like a millisecond before the round expired.
Yeah, you probably didn't mean to. But anyways.
Hey, everybody's got 10 Ks. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, 1-13. An absolute thrashing.
And we will see if Rush on this last buy are able to put a second round up on the board. If it makes it a 13-2 half, a little bit, one less, or one more round, I should say, for Cloud9. But already they're just pushing their way out. They're not even really scared to push out onto A anymore through smokes or whatever's in their way. Nothing taking this super ballsy position, although he is going to go down to that. Little Man grabs the kill. Virtus with another one, so they might actually drop the round here now. They're still split up, and there's Toy finding one more that was inside of the site. Automatic gets it. Skadoodle's still here, though. And the bomb is going to fully rotate over here, but Toy going jumping over the big red box. That won't work out so well. Skadoodle grabs that shot. He'll look for his next target by the truck position, but there's one more pushing a little bit closer up. Thankfully, he took the long route, wrapping back over around towards the quad side here. And Shroud is now grouped up, but Polyo, he will grab that kill. He spotted the guy on truck. This is Skadoodle now, alone in the 1v3. He'll basically just try to be as mobile as possible. Gets that kill into Polyo. He's able to fall back now and try to plant this bomb, although the Molotov is going to delay it for a few moments. No peek at the truck angle just yet. And he could absolutely clutch this now with the way that Rush are approaching this one. Planning it in your safe position, mollying off the truck angle to try and prevent Virtus from pushing it, but I think he's already past that, so that's not going to stop him. I'm not 100% sure if he spotted Little Man, and he's also got to be cautious of an A-flank since he's been in here for so long. It's certainly a possibility, but no. He's got Little Man jumping in, and no! Virtus legs Skadoodle. It's not enough to get the kill, and off of that, Cloud9, Skadoodle with a huge clutch will pick up a 14-1 half.
Wow. How many times did we see somebody jump in the air from Cloud9 and still be able to, you know, just plop on the ground and then get a kill?
Well, guys, that will close out the first half. It's a dominating one for C9. The second half comes up in just a little bit, so stick around.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, Cloud9 have been dominating Rush. They put up a bit more of a fight in the second half back on Cobblestone, but this one may prove a bit more difficult to actually try and put up any bit of a fight at all. They're down 14-1 coming off of their first half, and Cloud9 are looking safe to try and close out 2-0 in their first match here for the ESL Pro League Season 5, but we'll have to wait and see. It's on Cash for any of you that may just be joining us, and of course, I do have Days with me. Is there any hope of a comeback? I would say no. Does your opinion differ?
No, this game is definitely over. I mean, they really dealt with them with ease. They're clearly a superior team. I think that's very, very clear. And, you know, just being down 14-1, I also, you know, just playing with these guys a little bit, I kind of feel like, and from casting them in the Mountain Dew League, you know, sometimes it seems like when they're losing, they kind of just get really down on themselves, you know, and just really, you know, quiet and things like that. And it's just like, yeah, whatever. And kind of, you know, it's tough to come back when attitude-wise, that's kind of your attitude. And
we have seen that sort of snowball effect transpire as well. As it's just been Cloud9 getting more and more dominant, having an easier and easier time. And even in that 15th round, there was smokes covering up like Amy. They didn't even care. They just walked right through that. And we're like, well, we'll just go into the site.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those are kills that really just should never happen.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when you play against someone and they just like run through a smoke like that, it should be a kill like almost every single time. And it's fine if it happens sometimes, you know, sometimes you're just going to die in situations like that if you're the CT, but it shouldn't happen across the map. You know, if they're doing that across the map, then Rush should definitely come out ahead, right? Mm-hmm. So just you know, just a stat pad match by Cloud9, all their players just going around getting their kills. After it was about 7-1 or 8-1, they really just, you know, unleashed.
Well, we will get into the second half, and Cloud9 now jumping onto the CT side here. Rush probably just going to turn this into an A hit, and a fairly standard one at that. Flashbangs go in, but actually they don't really connect that well. So Little Man grabs the first frag, and then we see Automatic going down too. They may have a chance yet to try and pick up the second half pistol here. And Skadoodle, as he hangs back, he'll swing out wide, but that's going to bring him down to 11 HP. Reinforcements on the way, but there's a nice one-tap from Skadoodle. It takes down Toy. Some more damage being done to these guys as they do move in across the Ray main, but Little Man on the peak puts an end to Skadoodle before he can do anything else. Or up on top there. Nothing trying to push his way back in, but more frags continue to roll in for Rush here, and Nothing will just get pummeled by the remaining members of this T side. They pick up the pistol, and while they're on the road to a comeback, but 12 more rounds to go just to tie the scoreline, and 14 more straight if they want to try and somehow win this map in regulation.
Yeah, very good job by Virtus there being disciplined. He didn't walk up A main when he shouldn't have, and he was still dodging that flash, you know, being in the back there. That was a very good hold by them. Cloud9's pistol, you know, it was just for a pop flash A main if they spotted them. If they didn't spot them in A main, they'd probably just sit there and Stewie just, you know, plays it back and forth and they could overplay other sites.
Cloud9 players crouching in here very slowly over to the A-bombs. They try not to make some noise, but they are being dispatched of pretty quickly, unfortunately, despite the fact that they did stack it here. However, as I say that, some trades roll in. Nothing gets up in the face of one of these players. And Nothing's picked up one more. Stewie on the backside hasn't even been spotted yet, so Blade turns his backside to him. This ends up going down to a 1v1, but oh, Stewie has to roll through the Molotov, dips his head down behind the glitch position, and is caught reloading. Toy, you've got to go out there now. You've caught him in a disadvantaged position, and he will be able to close out, but what a close one that one was to almost immediately throw the balance back in the favor of C9.
Yeah, I thought he was definitely going to win that one. Not sure why the player decided to Molotov default, actually. I figured, you know, he knew he was a triple, but he still Molotov default. So that actually was something I was like, what is going on here? Why would you Molotov that? But then Stewie kind of runs in it because he wanted to change position, so it worked out really well for him. Cloud9 buys. They have 3 umps, 2 FAMASs, good amount of nades, so they just say, hey, let's just end it right now, essentially.
They are going to be spotted actually transitioning in the checkers, though, as the guys from the side of Rush do try to force their way into the B-bomb site yet again here. There's a 1-for-1 trade on it initially, but then Automatic taps in for another one here, and he's going to look for one more, but actually that's a messy spray with the UMP. Toy is able to find him. Shroud thankfully still holding in checkers, but he's got to do double duty now, watching out for both the T-Hall's push and this event's push. The Maul is going to prove too much to deal with here. He takes him down, but then Stewie running up through mid there, takes out Toy, and now it comes down to Blade. The 1v2, a UMP in hand, and already being down at 40 HP. Not only this too, but they haven't peeked into that corner, and a flawless pop flash from Stewie will just single-handedly finish the job. Cloud9 up onto match and map point here, and for the Rush guys now still at 3 rounds, so 12 straight is a bit in the realm of fantasy in its current form.
Yeah, definitely, especially because they had 4 die, you know, that round before, so they're only able to have the 2 AKs, a couple umps, and a Tech 9, limited utility. Should just be an easy cleanup for Cloud9 at this point.
And we will see, of course, if Rush are still able to keep themselves going on the path to a comeback here as they force into it. And it's not the end of the world. Again, the utility is probably the worst thing about this. They're very limited in that fact, and they've already used one of their smokes to try and get over boost here. But Automatic, he's going to be waiting on top of the sandbags here with a moment to strike. Nothing moves in, and he actually is able to sneak off that kill despite them expecting it. And one of their players, Verd, is being pre-fired into that angle. Automatic. Player hiding in a smoke moments ago is tapping into some incredible damage here. Blade being down to 12 HP after that one, and more than swinging out. Toy takes the position, but Virtus thankfully pushes on top before Automatic can do anything else. He moves in for the shed, takes Automatic down, and things like Match are going to slow down a bit here. A 2-1 split for the 3 remaining members of C9, with Rush just taking casual control of mid, but not really moving out from it just yet.
Yeah, 3 versus 4. Automatic, misplayed that a little bit. I think he maybe thought the smoke was going to last a little bit longer. It dissipates, and he's kind of out into the open, so he's not able to just get an initial frag to kind of surprise somebody. Stewie pop flashes in A main, blinds himself, and now it looks like Rush is just going to group up towards A, but Stewie's here with support from White Truck. So they're actually overplaying this a bit. Skadoodle's definitely, more A support than he is B support.
As they do move in, there's Stewie and Skadoodle both chiming in for a single kill. Now, Stewie does fall back down. However, it looks like Skadoodle's going to get aggressive. He won't really wait for his teammate to immediately come into support, but that's a good thing, too, because now, look, they've got this last man alive isolated. They've got him stuck between a rock and a hard place, and, well, regardless of this, they're defusing the bomb anyway, so they'll sneak it in there, and Cloud9 will just shut this one down. 16 rounds, another easy map victory here for Cloud9 against Rush, and they will start their season off with a strong record, 2-0, right from the get-go of things here on the first night.
Yeah, I mean, just a dominant performance, and if you're Rush, that's very tough, right? You just come into your first match in the professional division and immediately get thrown into the Wolves, man. Like, Cloud9, they won last season. They had an impeccable record last season. I think they only had like 1 or 2 losses.
They definitely had the #1 seed for NA last season.
It was a ridiculous record, and you have to come in and just play against them right now, and that's tough for Rush, man. It's really tough.
Still being able to get 9 rounds over on Cobblestone, though. We saw some good stuff from them there, so hopefully they take that one as a bit more of a learning experience than anything else. This is still a somewhat new team to the professional division, and they are going to take some time to form up and sort of learn about how to play at this level.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, guys. So for the time being, we're going to send things back over to Stunna and Bach over at the analysis desk to break down a little bit more of just what happened there on map number 2.
All right, we are Bach. That is correct. I mean, you know what? Come on, please. Anyway, a pretty much slaughter there by Cloud9. They were able to just come in, do whatever they pleased, and I'm sure that pleases most of you C9 fanboys at home.
I mean, we knew that was kind of what we were going to see there. We had anticipated a bit of a one-way affair. It seemed like Cloud9 was just going to stomp all over Rush in that second map. It was actually a strong performance from them in the first map, but Cash was just a map that C9 had every advantage on, and I mean, a 14-1 first half, it shows there.
Yeah, I mean, even throughout the first half here, we got to watch Shroud and Automatic really put in a lot of work there. I mean, if you looked at the ADR early in that half, it just speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean, statistically speaking, everyone from Cloud9 had a good game. Automatic played well, and it started to show towards the end, like Daze called it stat hunting. Like, they were all trying to pad the stats as much as possible, trying to pick up every possible kill on the map to make their stats look amazing for the start of the season.
Well, let's talk a little bit here about that stat padding, and in order to do that, we're going to cut it over to round 9. What do we got here, Bach?
I mean, this is kind of an A play coming out from the likes of Cloud9. Blade was playing off on the other side of the smoke. He pushes in with the pop flash, but doesn't realize that nothing's in the other corner. So he could have had a kill. Poyo's up on high, but there's really not much he can do at this point. And then it's Skadoodle from the door that really gets things going for Cloud9. Once they secure the site, look at the damage that's been dealt. Nothing is sitting pretty low. Shroud is low as well. Automatic, this round is all very winnable here for the likes of Rush. So they're moving in, they're trying to go for the retake, and then it's Skadoodle who's still in squeaky door with this AWP, and he picks off 3 members from Rush coming in on the retake. First one flashing across from the forklift. He's going to get another one. They just keep walking right into that crosshair. I mean, he handles the round single-handedly for Cloud9.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see right there Skadoodle really chiming in with that AWP, and when Skadoodle's on point, when Skadoodle's doing Skadoodle things, it's pretty much impossible to stop this Cloud9 roster.
Yeah, I mean, consistently we talked about how Virtus was not necessarily a super strong op. Yeah, well, the first map he was, what, 0-9 at one point. He did have a couple of big rounds. There was a B push early on. I think it was the first gun round where he got a 2K to stop things from B platform. But even still, every op tool, I feel like you would give the edge to Skadoodle. even not watching this map, like if I cover my eyes, I'm going to say Skadoodle wins this duel without even seeing what's happening. And I mean, that obviously goes into another round later on where Skadoodle dominated there as well.
Speaking of another round later on, we're going to get into round 15. Bach, walk us through this one.
So it's a 1 versus 3. This round should be all but over. Skadoodle's in A main. His teammate on the A site was Shroud. He dies. Skadoodle goes aggressive towards Toxic Barrels, gets a free kill on the man quad box. They surrender bomb site control, so he's able to get the plant as well. And he just does a good job scouting out, seeing what it is that Rush has as far as defense. You can see him jump peeking here for A main, but then he's got the op, and he sees a leg flash out real quick. Great vision from Skadoodle to spot that one. Gets legged by Virtus. Comes back and gets the kill anyway.
Welcome to the clutch. How about that?
That is devastating. That's just insult to injury. The sticker, the leg shot,
I mean,
brutal. It's pretty savage.
welcome to the clutch. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, right? So give me some final thoughts here on this doubleheader overall between Rush and Cloud9. Kind of what we anticipated, but let's go a little more in depth.
I mean, I think there are some strengths for Rush. I think Cloud9 is thrilled. They sort of went puggy towards the middle of that first half. They just started running around, and they were still winning rounds. So I think if you're Rush, you're looking at that one, you're getting disappointed in yourselves. But that first map was actually quite strong compared to what we expected. They came out swinging in the second half. Obviously, there are some issues, things they need to address. I do think their cobble could have been stronger. It did seem like they lacked, as just in range of executes, it didn't really seem like they did too much from their T side. And then the first half there was a little bit rough as well. 14-1. And they just could not get anything going.
I mean, the best that they could have hoped for there was, hey, we'll win the pistol round, maybe a couple more after that, right? But obviously unable to string it together. Team Rush is going to fall to Cloud9 2-0 to kick off the pro season there. And, I mean, we want to talk about assassins, right? So Skadoodle, a bit of an assassin. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean,
am I right?
More so from range, though.
You know who else is a super assassin? John Wick. And you can watch him this Thursday in theaters, February 10th. John Wick 2 coming out. Make sure you guys go see that. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to get into SK and Immortals. Keep it tuned in right here.